Class of 2023 wide receiver Chris Culliver is a Tar Heel. The 6'3", 175-pound Maiden, North Carolina native committed to the Tar Heels on July 4th. Don, what happened with Culliver's recruitment and how did he end up with UNC?
So his recruitment kind of proceeded at a weird pace. And that was mostly because there were a couple schools, Ohio State and Florida State, who had him pretty high on their boards, but obviously wanted to wait until guys higher up on their boards made their decisions, and so they ended up bypassing Culliver. Ohio State got 2 5-stars and also got 2 4-stars, including Noah Rogers, the top player in the state. So he was waiting to see what was happening with those 2 schools before he proceeded. He ended up taking official visits to North Carolina and Virginia Tech, and NC State was in there a little bit. Florida State kind of was in there towards the end, but for the most part, this came down to Virginia Tech and North Carolina. And after those official visits, decided to choose UNC.
What was it about UNC in particular?
I think mostly it was how Lonnie Galloway recruited him. That was the main thing he touched on when I spoke to him prior to the announcement, was his relationship with Lonnie Galloway. But I mean, it's an in-state school. It's going to be easy for his family to come see him play. He's been there, I believe, more than any other school. And so the comfort level is there with the campus.
All right. Chris Culliver is a wide receiver, 6'3", 175, as I mentioned. He's ranked at 24/7 Sports composite 4-star. He's ranked 313 in the nation. He's a 42nd ranked wide receiver and the number 12 prospect in the state of North Carolina. Don, what is Chris Culliver going to bring to the Tar Heels wide receiver room?
So for those who follow me, they know I'm a huge Chris Culliver fan. I have him ranked so much higher than everybody else. He's a legit 6'3". When you see him in person, there's no questioning whether he's 6'3". He's a legit 6'3". He has legit track time somewhere in the low 11 seconds in the 100-meter dash. On top of all that, he's one of those guys who does everything for his high school. There are several games during his junior season where he literally put the team on his back and won games. The Christ School game is a great example where they went to overtime. He had like 2 or 3 touchdowns in overtime. I think 5 touchdowns total for the game. So he's just a gamer. He's a guy who just excels on the high school level, and excels as being the guy, and that obviously bode well for his college career.
So Don, you mentioned you have this guy ranked really high in your personal rankings. What about Chris Culliver's game, skill, physical traits has him kind of ranked higher than maybe his 313 in the nation ranking?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just the public attention that he's getting. Maiden is a little bit in the middle of nowhere. They don't get a whole lot of media coverage. So a lot of his exploits on the field last season weren't fully covered to the extent they probably should have been covered. Also, a big part of the rankings is what you, especially for a skill player, is what you do on the 7-on-7 scene. He broke his hand during Maiden's playoff run, so he didn't participate in any 7-on-7 during this past offseason. He plays for the Carolina Stars, and he's one of the top he's one of their starting wide receivers, so he would have had a huge 7-on-7 season, but didn't. And I think that also hurt, and that's why, I mean, I have him, right behind Noah Rogers for the most part in the in-state rankings, where others have him further down, still in the top 10. But I mean, I think he's an absolute stud, and I think this is a guy who could have ended up at Ohio State or Florida State if things would have felt differently.
Chris Culliver, 6'3", 174, a mid to high 4-star player for the Tar Heels, ranked 313 in the nation, picks UNC and joins the Tar Heels 2023 class.